Zambia is a landlocked country located in central southern Africa. Since its independence in 1964, the country's economy relied heavily on copper mining. Over the years, Zambia's economy has drifted more towards agriculture, with crop production being a major component. Maize and cassava are the major staple crops in Zambia, both used predominantly in the preparation of a thick porridge consumed almost on a daily basis, known as nsima or uwali. While maize has always been cultivated countrywide in Zambia, cassava is grown mainly in the northern, Luapula, northwestern, and western provinces of the country. In these parts of Zambia, cassava is in fact the mainstay of the people, who have lived through several generations relying on cassava production for their livelihoods.
Kuno kwesu kwali bane kibembe kitira kitakwali akakolwe kali minelungu twaleli mafyetu utera isi yaisandaka yi twaishiwa ko fyetu utefwe bogwe bati kuli yako fyobwali n'abantu akobwalo abalonga nomba mwapendi utuntu inge utwaishiwa kutira kwene ubulimi twetwalirira.
Recently, great distress has befallen the traditional cassava growing areas of Zambia, following the arrival of a devastating viral disease called Cassava Brown Streak disease.
Kumishira palapa mulwa palapa apamena amabula ya katapa kanshikula moneke mishire ya folongana sana filia ere no tushishtura moneka kofilia kanshina amabula ya katapate amoneka ya bumi yawe kula mwe fotu akashikirira filia twashibati awe kwena uyutute mulwele efe tumwena kokwena.
Cassava Brown Streak disease, CBSD that is, can be traced as far back as 1936, where it was documented in the low altitude regions of East Africa. The disease causes a hard rot known as necrotic rot in cassava roots, and the roots being the major edible portion of the crop means that there is less yield for the farmer and compromised quality. Symptoms of CBSD affected cassava include chlorotic patches and brown streaks on stems. The chlorotic patches appear on the leaves where you have variegated green and yellow leaves. The disease in fact obtains its name from the brown streaks on the stems. In Zambia, cassava brown streak was first detected in 2018 by scientists from the Zambia Agricultural Research Institute, who have worked with farmers in the traditional cassava growing areas of the country for a long time.
Desitatuisha kuishibila kwa malwele kumabula deni na kuchikonkolo elio na kulituti nomba chilicha yangu ko kuishibo bubulwele ifwe kumyesu mumbali kyeshibili nga kyabutira waya muibala pantu amalwele nga yali kuli kumabula yali ishibi kwa bwangu.
The most likely mode of spread of cassava brown streak disease into Zambia is through the exchange of diseased cassava cuttings among farmers. The disease is also typically spread through the whitefly, that is Bemisia tabaci, but the low population of this vector in the traditional cassava growing areas of Zambia points more to the fact that the rapid spread of the disease in Zambia is through the exchange of diseased cuttings among farmers.
Twalaya kubula kondere kula ku Kongo tulete emisira tuse tubikyo naye emisira ya twalaya twala ku nishimwa ingisho ule bya mwagwensha nishimwansa ingisho.
CABI International has taken very keen interest in CBSD research because of the impact that it has on cassava production and productivity, which is translating into poor small-scale farmer livelihoods. To this effect, CABI International embarked on a survey in October 2021 to assess the impact of cassava brown streak disease on small-scale farmer livelihoods, level of awareness, and coping strategies among the small-scale farmers. The survey took the form of face-to-face questionnaires that were administered to the cassava farmers in the traditional cassava growing areas of Zambia. And this was done in the northern province of Zambia in Kaputa district, Luapula province's Chiyenga district, and northwestern province's Kabompo district.
Buteko ubutira bwatwafwa muku kwata kwa ififintu fyala tuponeshe ekipowe muno mu Zambia bantu ndemo nakwati niwo Zambia abengi balelira kepali ububwine bulwere bwatute n'obulwere bwafishishu fyamataba bonse tulelira nomba buteko wala twafwa shani pakuti ififintu fipwe muno mu Zambia bantu tulefwaisha sana obulimi nomba kairi ubulimi nabutampa okutola kumulandu wa kibosha kyatute twalasambirira shani abana nga fweba ikalya fye mukulima n'abalume tatukwete apa kuma okuboko twala kitashani ekyo nomba tulelira ku buteko kuti ubuteko butwafwe ife twala kitapalizi fintu.
So, a team of enumerators was trained by CABI International prior to conducting a survey in the northern, northwestern, and Luapula provinces of Zambia. The survey also involved gender-responsive focus group discussions in addition to the questionnaire interviews that were administered in the provinces. The focus group discussion held at the agricultural district offices in Kaputa district was officiated by the district agricultural coordinator, Mr. Sinkamba. He spoke to the farmers, telling them about the significance of Cassava Brown Streak disease and how we were to join hands with the farmers and the Ministry of Agriculture, the Department of Agriculture, in mitigating CBSD impacts.
If we ngabantanji tulina omulimo okulusana bantu ebumba eryakubalira bo eryayitwa ubisa mukulanda pali obwobwafya ikilepiri bulokutira abe n'abasungu balatira tamapayoniya twala abakwati nifwe bapayoniya nomba nifwe balira po ukwate otusebo utwakweba titwingaya twishibishe kwa banenshi so ubwite ubutwaswike twayisa kuno tuletotera tinamwasuko obwitobo nokumichinkula kwati umulimo mwakwata wakula pantu ichi chisendo ekyalifye n'abantu abanono nomba twayakanako twafulako fwe balesenda pakweba twishibisheko abanyinefwe okutira natukwate obwobwafya n'emirimo tukalabomba nife.
During the focus group discussion held at the agricultural district offices in Kaputa district, the farmers participated in a situational analysis centering on 4 key areas, the first being the household profile, and then the communication profile, the production profile, and finally the resources profile. A series of questions was posed to the farmers under each profile in order to establish the practices commonly found within the community. Under the household profile, a question was posed on participation of various gender groups in cleaning, as well as in cooking and in the care for children. In response to the participation of various gender groups in cooking and cleaning, the women carried the day as they participated the most, and they had this to say about their participation in these household level chores.
Nifwe tuishiba finshi fyo abana balaliya ifingale tobukumu mubiri abana babo kirabushiku echo bana maina mukuipika tatuipika kirabushiku fimufine.
The youth equally indicated that they participated very well in these 2 chores, and they had this to say for themselves.
Akubalira pofye inene yosi uleitwa fete umsepera panganda ruchero bwacha nindala fi kwema nyono kwa nkuipika mami chani napekanya akasuba nchefete kwena hapa nishite akuipika nineo ne yosi wala mbo kuipika chindakele shiba mami na bekala na badadi ro lomba imibare ndetira spantu njikele chama be na iwo ndepera la kakena kama cho tufumishe putafashe tupere bamayo nafira bachirando tumunko yo shani to modo tulo
atapane ndepikira bamuso
nabala bomba na hakulanga kwefya kuipika aka nalakulanga nombole uleipikanile
umwana nga narwala pang'anda nina mali nshira tu mwana arwile nshira mtwala kuchipatala tolabo mfyako ama method ya moyo batulanga bachipatala umwana nga narwada ile mubuli mwa wako tu soti tu shuga chana chana mpaka tamuna afika kulia mwa mtwala kuchipatala kutapala nisho we mfyashi na umuchitakeya ukwisa kuma sikuru abana umwana kapitula na ile pukate chitatabira nifo otubira no kuwasho kubasambirisho obusaka kwana fwe bana mafutubikire pona no tuliteni kwana fingi kwitolanda fyati nifo tusunga abana fye bwino bara batupekanisha kufera future sunga no kupekanisha future ipekanisha po wishinga taribu ito tubikire tuliteni bitwarondora kwena kasupata.
Under the communications profile, some of the questions posed to the farmers involved their participation in attending meetings at community level, as well as farmer mobilization, passing announcements on various gatherings within the community. The men and the youth also carried the day on this one, and they had this to say about their participation in these two community level activities.
Nabeta abantu mumushi tulaya pakwe batitwe tumfwe icho batwitira ni chinshi songa twaya kuleko tuyamukumfuila ifili agenda iya abantu abe abatwitile. For example kola balimbi balaba twitile nabakwata ili ashirako bati imbikuli kuwamia omusebo wa kumanda ni example kuri ulo musebo wa kumanda ifwe as youths natukwata mu mulimo otwala bomba imbikuli fa iko kwempa ukusekule nshila ikule nifatwala bomba ulio mulimo ukana pamulandi wakwe bati ifwe we are energetic kuchirako abafyashi bonza babiri mbali shonse shibiri. So kuma meetings tulasangwa pamulandi wakwe bati tuishibe echo bale tufwaila
ayama meeting nango kukumana kuchitika mu community mo twikala wali bama meetings ayenji kula balimo wali botubungo twaisa ngo twaba wanu stop center ba wanu stop center nga baisa mu community baresa na mashi wayenji uko fweba shifwe tusangwa ukuti batusambirishye pepa fyo twinga sunga abana child abuse defilement elo repu filafine so tulasambira mwefingi uku ne fwe tulakwata okuipusha kwa mepusho bali abana nsuba one stop center nga baisa ifyo twingekala na abantu mumushi ifyo twinga sambirisha abana besu nefyo twinga sambirisha abakashi besu elio nokukirisha mofye nefyo twinga sambirisha ko nabambi fimonga fyakitika.
Similarly, the youth who participated more in the field along with their mothers, weeding the fields and ensuring that field checks are adequately done, would be the go-to people when it comes to fostering control measures, rogging and other application of control measures on CBSD, including the use of biopesticides. Interactions with the farmers also revealed the need for farmers to be sensitized on Cassava Brown Streak disease. Farmers in fact expressed ignorance about the disease, and they reported that they had not received any prior information on Cassava Brown Streak disease.
Ifwe tuwaishibe fya masambiro fya yachifyalirwa nga tuwaenda na mumabalo mumulesa nga imibyalire ile yapusana ko imbi kutitikanya ele imbi imibyalire yapusana ko kuti nayo kati aya masambiro fya chifyalirwa era twasambirire kufika olwe fyesu kufika na pabwa lelo.
During the farmer sensitization gathering, Mr. Suilanji Sichilima from Zari gave an introduction to CBSD, covering aspects on the origin of the disease, the symptoms, and what exacerbates its spread. This was then followed by a brief practical session where farmers in their gender groups stepped into Mr. Kabengele's field and attempted to identify Cassava Brown Streak disease symptoms, also differentiating them with cassava mosaic disease.
Chichikonkolo ebuli abulwele buli obukonkostanya amabu nani mikoma ya tute ubu elio bukabiri efilangiro fyakulanga obulwele bwatute ifilangiro filanga kumabula ngefi efi tuishibisho kuti kwene itute ilwele.
In the afternoon, the farmers provided feedback on their lessons by acting out through sketches the lessons that they had learned during the morning session. The farmers were still sorted in their gender groups as they did the acting, and in fact competed against one another in depicting the lessons learned. The elderly male gender group carried the day with a small prize from the enumerator team because they acted out the message very, very well.
Tukesa asina umwali ukutika twali kutika kwelyo lyasi kanzi bichara fwe ko pali chibiri mayiro mwe bana tukakumetuka eko.
The gathering ended in an earnest appeal by one of the male farmers in attendance. He passionately urged CABI International and Zari to continue with the great work that they had started.
Ifi mwe agirikacha kunu ngoku etwaleta mpama bulimyaya mwali fiko nchele fye bwino kufiko nkabwino sana numba munshi kwesherelo nakisa tupesha kwa mano ikine apa ikinasenda po mutwali lyo kutwafwa mwikaputukisha mwikaputukisha ali mukapeleli apeni kutwafwa pantu apicha kutwafwa ne mwa ikikulo ifu mwapende apo mwapende ifintu ifingi sana ifyofi kweti obuyo mukatika mitwe yavishafwe bantu kutwafwa.
The sensitization radio programs were hosted by Lubuto Radio for Kaputa District and Radio Kalungwishi for Chiyenge District. For Kaputa District, the program featured CABI International's Dr. Chapwa Kasoma, Zambia Agricultural Research Institute's Mr. Suwilanji Chilima, and Mr. John Kabengele as guest farmer. The program addressed Cassava Brown Streak disease symptoms, impacts of the disease on cassava production and productivity, and the effect on farmer livelihoods in the traditional cassava growing areas, as well as possible interventions. The discussion culminated into a phone-in session in which many farmers called in expressing various sentiments on the topic, ranging from appeals to the government for help on mitigation strategies to appreciation for the efforts shown by CABI International in partnership with the Zambia Agricultural Research Institute.
Lelo kwa chivo kusambirira amalwele ya FOSA elio kale mwachilanda basubilanyi wakaputa kwali bama varieties za cassava kasinza sana natukwata pali bangwe ulu natukwata pali mwelu natukwata pali kalila natukwata pali ne mikonkolo ya chikaya
ngandele muita
ndele elio na kalila nchindo kalila nchindo iyi mishila kuti twaita utilize ngama farmers lelo ngachakwe bati tatukonkere fiko mwefirela ndabasubilangi na bachapwa twalikwata problem fwe farmers ayengesa panganda tulakwata ma problem za Afrika panganda tutenga tampo kubola ili ngine usomboshi ulabwelela panchi.
Karibu sana mbo afyashi muli kungandya mulabasa tule myumfu ani mba nani kale ulu bachimba nani Bachimba James, thank you. Twatotela mkwa ibata, karibu sana. Muleti poshani. Mkwai. Twatotela sana loli pusho mkwai konghene pokumva kungandya mulabasa bala kwato kwasuka ba Kasoma elo kubika kufina na bashilima mkwai filafine
ndeko selesha na bafamu kwe bati ngafira bachiranda bakasoma mwinenuka mwibwerera panuma pamwilimine ya tuti nayi kwata ubukumu ubwingi sana.
Among the key issues emerging from CABI International's activities in the 3 provinces are, firstly, the need for extensive farmer awareness on Cassava Brown Streak disease, including identification of diseased plants, regular field checks by farmers to identify diseased plants, rogging or removal of diseased plants once spotted, limiting the exchange of planting material among farmers, and careful selection of cuttings for further propagation and cultivation of subsequent cassava fields. Secondly, the need to identify suitable germplasm for breeding of Cassava Brown Streak disease-resistant cassava. This would work best in a participatory way. Third, there are prospects for establishing disease-free cutting centers that are homegrown in these areas if farmers could get organized through their lead farmers and with support from the Ministry of Agriculture. Farmers could endeavor to clean up their own land races of cassava that are adapted to their areas, begin nurseries of disease-free cuttings, and take responsibility to ensure that these contain disease-free cuttings indeed, and these are the ones to be distributed and used within each community.
Buat orang